while Lamont Roach and Pitbull Cruz are preparing for their upcoming showdown for Pitbull Cruz's WBC interim belt at 140-pound division, they had a routine checkup to make sure that they're losing weight appropriately. You know what I'm saying? And it came just in time for Thanksgiving. And right on schedule, somebody came in a little schmidget, tiny bit overweight.
God damn it, that's a big fat ass!
And that person will be Lamont Roach. And a lot of people are saying, you know, he is a weight bully. Another week, another American fighter being accused of being a weight bully.
Hello guys, this is Rolly Romero.
Yo, my name is Nonito Donaire. What's up guys, Designer's Eyes.
Here with Bob Santos Boxing.
And I rock with Dr. Boxing Talk.
I want to give a quick shout out to Dr. Boxing Talk.
And I want to give a big shout out to Dr. Boxing Talk. Thank you for all the love. Thank you for all the support.
You're rocking with Dr. Boxing Talk. Get your daily news from my man right here, the best in the business. Let's get it, baby.
All day, baby.
Amen.
Bam!
If I tell you I'm good, probably you'll say I'm boasting. If I tell you I'm no good, you know one line.
Yo, what's good, Boxing Talk family? Welcome back to your favorite boxing news channel, Dr. Boxing Talk. And once again, I want to tell you a happy Thanksgiving. If you missed the earlier upload, those of you that caught that one too, I appreciate you and I salute you. But we have another video, some more boxing news to talk about. And we about to get right to it. And I'm talking about BTF Rise Up. Lamont Roach, you know, the 130-pound WBA champion, is taking on Pitbull Cruz at not 135, but 140. So he's effectively moving up 2 weight classes. You see what I'm saying? To take on Pitbull Cruz for his WBC interim belt. And there's been a routine checkup. I know a lot of y'all are familiar with these things, but these things are typical protocol in boxing, right? It depends on what sanctioning body. You know, everybody has their own rules, and sometimes it depends on the athletic commission as well, the state that is being held. But this time, right, we have a 2-week routine checkup, and it just came back that Lamont Roach is a smidgen overweight. And I know you're like, hold on, should there be a penalty enacted? Well, in these things, they usually don't, because what it's there for is just to make sure that both fighters are effectively losing weight and not compromising themselves, you know, or not in danger of being, you know, hospitalized or fainting, like we seen Janabek and Lim Kanuli have to have a fight canceled with Andre Mikhailovich because he wasn't successfully losing weight. We just recently saw with Chris Eubank how he got into a little bit of trouble with the BBBFC, right, over there in the UK, because he wasn't using safe measures to lose weight effectively and appropriately. We also seen other guys like Virgil Ortiz suffer from weight issues as well. You see what I'm saying? Weight related issues and not losing it appropriately, you know, and not in a safe fashion, really just endangering themselves, you know, putting themselves in danger. And that's why we want to make sure that these protocols go smoothly and we do not neglect them, right? We got to make sure that we adhere to them. So I think it's a good thing, me personally, from where I'm sitting. So with the 2-week protocol, right, you have to make sure that they're within 5 pounds of the weight limit. So for those of you that are good at math, right, 5% of 140 is what, 7 pounds. For your listening pleasure, we are now on Spotify under Dr. Boxing Talk. The same thing on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, everything. Dr. Boxing Talk, man. Come rock with us. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Well, Lamont Roach came in a tad bit over that. He weighed in at 148.2. So that's about that's a little bit over a pound more than he's supposed to. But there's not going to be any punishment because, like I said, this is really just to make sure that they are losing weight and they're on schedule, you know, because there is another one coming up where he has to be 3%, him and Pitbull Cruz, you know, so they have to be about 144 pounds because that will be 3% of 140. You see what I'm saying? So, and then that's just to prepare them to make their 140-pound weight limit by their fight date, right on schedule. You see what I'm saying? But there's a lot of accusations with news of this for those that are mostly unaware with how boxing typically goes, you know, the operations of boxing, and they're like, oh, well, Lamont Roach is a weight bully. Well, I want to be very clear with this, right? I'm not saying you can't call him a weight bully, but then you have to call David Benavidez a weight bully, right? That's one of the reasons why Cinnamon didn't want to fight him. You know, whether you agree with that or not, that's just the truth, right? And there's a lot of fighters that avoid the IBF sanctioning body because they don't want to be subjected to the rehydration clause, right? That's automatically implemented by the IBF. And the one person that does that, there's many people, I'm not gonna say one person, but there's many people that do that. Most recently, Conor Benn. Conor Benn doesn't want to fight Lewis Crocker, who's on the same promotional company. Yes, they share a stable with Matchroom at 147. He said out of his mouth, the audacity of him to say that he doesn't want to challenge Lewis Crocker for his 147-pound welterweight belt because he's with the IBF and they implement a rehydration limit.
Although he's the IBF, you know, he's not really a name that's on my radar. For me, about a 10-pound rehydration, just not really. I'd rather win the WBC.
Your last fight, you just fought Chris Eubank Jr., who had a rehydration limit. You see the hypocrisy there? But we don't worry about that. But anytime an American fighter, you know, comes in a smidgen overweight, we can't wait to call him a weight bully. Lamont Roach and Pitbull Cruz, yes, they both have a common opponent in Gervonta Tank Davis, right? And they both fought him at 135. I point that out to show you that 140-pound division, right? Pitbull Cruz, yes, he made the weight, but he's not weight bullying Pitbull Cruz because they're both guys that fought at similar weight divisions, you know, at similar stature. Now, I will say Lamont Roach is taller, and I would say he has a capability to move up higher, even potentially 147. But I wouldn't call him a weight bully because it's around Thanksgiving and he's eating well, and you know the fight's a little bit far out. You know, I think people just tend to exaggerate little things because they have a vendetta against a certain boxer. Is Lamont Roach capable of fighting above where he fights at? Obviously. But does that make him a weight bully? I mean, there's so many fighters that, you know, cut weight a lot and they're not really fighting at their natural walk around weight or even close to. And the reason why I brought up Gervonta Tank Davis as their common opponent, because he's one of the few fighters that actually does fight around the weight limit that they walk around at. No, I shouldn't say walk around at, that they're comfortable at, I should say, not walk around, because every fighter, you know, walks around a little bit higher because that just comes with getting in shape. You see what I'm saying? But I would say Gervonta Tank Davis, like his predecessor, you know, Tank is Floyd Mayweather's protege, just like Tank's predecessor, if you will, Floyd Mayweather. He's one of the few fighters that walks around close to where they fight at. You see what I'm saying? Gervonta Tank Davis is very similar in that case. Pitbull Cruz, you know, he fought, he was a 140 champion, remember, a full champion before he lost, when he beat Rolly Romero, then he lost it to who? Jose Rayo Valenzuela. So what I'm saying is that he could fight at 135, he could fight at 140. Lamont Roach could fight at 130, obviously, then he fought at 135, now he's fighting at 140. So I don't think there's anything problematic with him weighing slightly above 1.2 pounds above the 2-week check of 5% within the weight limit. You know, as long as he makes it comfortably, then he's good, because David Benavidez, you know, he goes through weight cuts. You see what I'm saying? Like I said, also Virgil Ortiz does, Devin Haney does, who else? You know, a lot of fighters do. Conor Ben, so much so that he doesn't even want to fight in the IBF weight limit. I mean, in the IBF sanctioned body, because of the rehydration clause that they force upon you. So I just think that this should be an enlightening moment for us to realize that rehydration clauses and weight bullying, I'm not going to say that they're not bad, but I will say this: if you don't like weight bullies, if you're calling Lamont Roach a weight bully, well, then you also have to acknowledge that rehydration clauses are somewhat necessary, right? You can't say you don't like weight bullies, but then simultaneously say that you also don't like rehydration clauses. That is what it's for. The rehydration clause is to mitigate, you can't eliminate it, but it's to mitigate the amount of fighters that are fighting at weight classes that they don't really belong to. You see what I'm saying? And they're kind of having an advantage on their opponents. But at the same time, too, we have to realize if you don't want the rehydration clauses, that's cool. But the guys that are using their ability to drop weight effectively, because that's what it is, that's a talent in itself. Everybody's body is not capable of doing that. So you can't get mad at the fighters that are able to walk around 20, 30 pounds more than where they actually fight at, because they could effectively lose weight and not look drained. Because while we talk about Devin Haney coming in overweight, or David Benavidez, well, Devin Haney has never missed weight. You know, we know David Benavidez has before, but he doesn't even do that. It's a rarity with him as well. So what I'm saying is that if these guys are effectively making the weight at which they're contracted to fight at, let it ride, in my personal opinion. But if you don't want to let it ride, then you have to be okay with implementation of a rehydration clause. You can't have both, man. You see what I'm saying? So I don't think there's any problem here. I just think people just are looking for a reason to knock Lamont Roach or whatever it is. You see what I'm saying? I don't really think that this is anything to worry. As long as he anything to worry about, as long as he makes weight, is within 5%. You know, he just missed the one that's within 5%. He was not within that 5%, but he has another one coming up to be within 3%. You see what I'm saying? And then we're gonna have the official fight night weigh-in when they actually fight. And I think everything's gonna be cool, man. I just think it's another reason people just want to complain. You see, I just thought I'd shed some light on it and educate a little bit. But if you don't like it, I feel you. But just remember, if you don't like these things, then you can't really get mad at the measures that are taken or implemented in order to, like I said, you can't eliminate it, but you can mitigate it by implementing certain measures that a lot of people also don't like either. So it's crazy, man. But y'all let me know what y'all think about that. Do you think Lamont Roach is abusing the weight, and do you think he's gonna weight bully Eastside Pitbull Cruz, or do you think it's just something else for people to talk about? You feel me? I think it's more so of the latter than the former, but you let me know what you think. Once again, happy Thanksgiving. Don't forget to smack that like button, but most importantly, remember, with God we can do anything. Without God we're nothing. The doctor's out. Peace. Hey, save me some turkey, man. I'm coming over.
From the hood to college, both worlds they had to meet. 6 degrees between us, so cold we're about to freeze. But we're Florida boys, hot takes, we bring the heat. We're moving the culture, the engineers to the streets.